I want you to just step outside of your normal commute for a second.
Right, leave the traffic behind.
Yeah. Think about a place where distance isn't measured in miles or kilometers.
But in pure, unfiltered courage.
Exactly. I mean, imagine you're looking at a landscape where these rushing, violent rivers just deeply divide towering, jagged mountains.
Or vast oceans that seem perfectly designed by nature to keep entirely different nations apart.
Right. You see deep gorges that hold the actual physical, undeniable scars of our history. And in the face of all those massive natural divides, what exactly do we do?
Well, we build.
We build. From fragile, terrifying wooden planks swaying high above Himalayan valleys to these absolute steel giants rising through freezing fog and corrosive saltwater. Today's deep dive is an exploration of bridges.
But we aren't just going to be talking about pouring concrete and laying steel.
No, not at all. This is a story of connection. It's about what humanity actively chooses to link, even when the rest of the world seems to be, desperately pulling apart.
Yeah, that's the core of it.
So, okay, let's unpack this. Because every single bridge, whether it's an ancient stone arch or a cutting-edge suspension marvel, it asks you the exact same quiet question.
What is worth crossing for?
And what is worth holding together?
It's a profoundly human question to start with. Bridges are, when you really look at the mechanics and the intent behind them, the ultimate physical manifestation of hope and resilience.
They really are.
They're this exact focal point where geography, history, and sheer human ambition just seamlessly synthesize into a single structure. I mean, they don't just carry our cars and our footsteps.
Right, they carry memory.
Exactly. Memory, loss, and an incredible amount of economic and social hope.
By analyzing these structures, we aren't just studying the evolution of civil engineering.
We're studying the human spirit's absolute refusal to be isolated.
Precisely.
And that is exactly our mission for you today. We're going to take you on a massive sweeping journey across the globe. We'll traverse ancient stone legends that have outlasted entire empires.
Yeah, and we'll stand high above the clouds on modern glass marvels that actively trick your eye, and plunge straight into the ocean on megastructures so impossibly massive they actually unite entire nations.
The evolution of these structures is staggering when you break it down. I mean, if we go back to the very foundations of permanent infrastructure, we see ancient civilizations building with a level of foresight and mathematical precision that is genuinely difficult to comprehend today.
Oh, absolutely.
They weren't just throwing logs over a creek for a quick commute. They were building monuments for eternity, using techniques that modern engineers...
And speaking of layered history and enduring through time, if we travel forward just a bit, still in China, we find the Marco Polo Bridge.
Built between 1289 and 1292.
Right, during the Yuan dynasty, which gives it over 830 years of history. It's slightly smaller than Zazu, measuring about 874 feet long. But the design is just staggering. It features 11 towers and 16 intricately carved dragon heads.
Yes, the dragon heads are iconic.
But here's what I don't get. It's built using a combination of stone and wood. Doesn't wood rot when exposed to a river for 8 centuries?
Yeah.
How did they manage that combination?
That specific combination is exactly why the technical system demonstrated in the Marco Polo Bridge is so remarkable. Combining those materials requires incredibly skilled building techniques to account for their different thermal coefficients.
Meaning how they react to heat and cold?
Precisely. Wood expands and contracts with moisture and temperature at a vastly different rate than stone. The builders used interlocking joinery that allowed the wooden elements to swell and shrink without cracking the surrounding stone masonry.
That is genius.
Furthermore, the wood was heavily treated and protected by the overhanging stone architecture.
So the stone actually shields the vulnerable parts of the wood.
Exactly. And that executed precision is why it's been able to endure not only centuries of natural disasters, but also numerous fierce military battles. It wasn't just a beautiful thoroughfare, it was a strategically vital artery for armies and trade routes, yet it was decorated with the care of a royal talus.
Just feeling the atmosphere there. Imagine you're surrounded by these lush green forests and flowing rivers, with ancient stone dragon heads guarding your path. It completely immerses you in the richness of Chinese culture.
It really does.
But let's shift gears entirely. From the strategic brilliance of the Yuan dynasty, let's cross over into the realm of absolute mythology. We are heading to the dramatic landscapes of Wales.
Aha, Wales.
You are looking at an ancient, dark stone structure spanning a terrifying drop. This is Devil's Bridge Falls. We are talking about a dramatic 3-arch bridge built in the 11th century suspended over a 300-foot waterfall.
300 feet is no joke.
300 feet. And it sits within the gorgeous 250-acre Hafod estate. And with a name like Devil's Bridge, you know there is a folklore attached.
Always.
The legend literally states the bridge was born of a pact made with the devil because no human could figure out how to build across such a terrifying gorge. It gives the whole site this incredibly moody, mystical atmosphere if you watch the water just plummet down into the darkness.
The folklore adds an undeniably intriguing layer, and it reflects the genuine terror the landscape inspired in medieval people. But what's fascinating here is the medieval engineering itself.
Actual people built it.
To construct a stable crossing 300 feet above a roaring river in the 11th century required an astonishing level of physical bravery and ingenuity. Imagine trying to erect wooden scaffolding over a 300-foot drop with high Welsh winds battering you.
No, thank you.
It was a monumental task of stone masonry in an incredibly hostile environment. And today, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the entire area has been recognized as a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Those dramatic gorges and ancient woodlands create an idyllic setting that is now a vital ecological area. It teems with rare species of plants and wildlife. It's a perfect harmony of human folklore, historical engineering, and thriving biodiversity.
It's basically a dark fairy tale that just happens to be an ecological goldmine. Now, if we are talking about vertical scale, let's chase the sun south and head over to Ronda, Spain.
Fuente Nuevo.
Yes. You want to talk about dramatic engineering? You are standing 2,624 feet above sea level. You are in a city covering 573 acres of breathtaking natural scenery, olive groves, and pine forests. And right in the middle of it all, spanning the terrifying El Tajo Gorge, is the Puente Nuevo.
Completed in 1793.
Stands an unbelievable 328 feet or 100 meters high. And before we get into the masonry, there is a 3,000-year-old legend that Hercules himself built the city on these two hills. You stand there looking down 328 feet at the river below, and you can almost believe a demigod had to be the one to cleave the earth in two.
The scale of Puente Nuevo is difficult to overstate, and it profoundly shaped European bridge construction. The technical system they utilized here was revolutionary for 1793.
How so?
To build a bridge 100 meters straight up, you can't just pile stones from the riverbed. They had to use complex ashlar masonry, anchoring the stone deep into the sheer vertical walls of the gorge itself. The bridge doesn't just sit on the rock. It's woven into the structural integrity of the cliffs.
And when you look out from it, you aren't just looking at rock walls.
Exactly. It exists in a complex relationship with its environment. The area surrounding Ronda, specifically the nearby Sierra de Grazalema Natural Park, is an incredibly diverse ecosystem.
What kind of wildlife?
The deep valleys and caves aren't just scenic. They're home to endemic wildlife species like the Iberian ibex. And you can watch magnificent birds of prey like the golden eagle literally riding the thermal updrafts below eye level.
That is so cool, below eye level.
So the bridge serves as this elegant viewing platform into the mystical and wondrous beauty of the natural world.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because while bridges like Puente Nuevo and the Marco Polo Bridge are born of myth, strategy, and triumph, there's a much heavier side to this story.
There is.
We have to acknowledge the bridge is built on unimaginable hardship and survival. Not every bridge is a joyful celebration.
If we travel to Richmond, in Tasmania, Australia, we find the Richmond Bridge. Completed in 1825, it's Australia's oldest stone bridge still in use. It spans the Coal River, extending about 131 feet in length. Its soft sandstone arches possess these beautiful golden tones that radiate in the Tasmanian sun.
But again, the beauty hides a really harsh reality. It was crafted entirely by convict labor.
Yes, it was.
If you walk right up to those ancient granite and sandstone blocks today, you can still clearly see the physical, hand-chiseled marks etched into every single stone. The people who swung those chisels were working in the hot sun of a penal colony on the absolute edge of the known world. It's haunting. You can almost hear the echoes of the travelers, the guards, and the outcasts who shared in the heartbeat of this deeply tied town.
That is exactly the point of its preservation. It functioned as a literal and psychological frontier. On one side, you had the harshness of exile and the brutal reality of the penal system.
And on the other.
Crossing the bridge represented the fragile hope of new beginnings, of trade, and of establishing a life beyond the colony. The bridge was the crossing point, from punishment to possibility. It invites us to reflect on how human ingenuity weaves physical crossings into the tapestry of a community's history.
I really like that framing.
The endurance of those hand-chiseled marks is a testament to the fact that even structures born of extreme punishment and control can eventually become vital, beloved lifelines for future free generations.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because if we're going to talk about structures enduring through war and turmoil, we absolutely have to talk about the Ponte Vecchio in the heart of Florence, Italy.
Oh, a masterpiece.
Stone arches rising 95 feet over the shimmering waters of the Arno River. But it's not just a walkway. Clinging to the sides of this bridge are these incredibly beautiful ochre and pastel shops. The sunlight just gleams off them. It was originally built in Roman times, then rebuilt in the 14th century after a devastating flood.
But the truly miraculous part is its survival in the 20th century.
Yes, it is the only bridge in Florence to survive World War II entirely intact. The retreating German army destroyed every other crossing, but supposedly they spared the Ponte Vecchio because it was just too beautiful.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the Ponte Vecchio is the ultimate symbol of endurance through transformation. Preserved through history's immense turmoil, it represents lives literally layered atop each other. It's fascinating because it forces us to rethink what a bridge is.
How so?
Here, you have a structure that serves as a passage, but also as a permanent commercial hub where tradition and economy meet. Historically, those shops weren't glamorous. They were filled with butchers, and the setup was designed so they could toss the animal waste directly into the river below.
Yikes.
It was an environment of raw, ancient trade, and frankly, a terrible smell.
Right, the Medici family eventually got sick of the smell when they were walking across their private corridor above it.
Exactly. And that prompted the shift. Today, you cross it, and you are surrounded by gold artisans and modern luxury. The city's pulse echoes through cobblestones that have been worn smooth by generations of foot traffic, from medieval butchers to Renaissance nobility to modern tourists.
It's a complete 180.
It reminds us that while the world around a structure changes entirely, its core utility and timeless beauty can endure.
You can see modern lovers pausing mid-span, looking out over the Arno, standing exactly where jewelers and butchers stood centuries before them. It's a stunning continuity. And speaking of continuity and forging a national identity, let's travel to Budapest, Hungary, and look at the Székely Chain Bridge.
Completed in 1849.
It was the very first permanent bridge to span the Danube River. Designed by the Scottish engineer William Tierney Clark, this thing is an absolute beast. 1,351 feet long, utilizing over 13,000 individual steel components.
The innovative engineering of the 1840s cannot be understated here. To bridge the Danube permanently was a monumental task. The river is wide, fast, and prone to massive ice drifts in the winter. It required an unprecedented amount of steel and structural foresight.
And they used chains, not cables, right?
They did. They used an incredibly unique suspension system for its time, relying on massive iron chains rather than wire cables, which gave it the rigidity needed to withstand the harsh Central European winters. But beyond the impressive length and the 13,000 components, what makes the Székely Chain Bridge so vital is its role as the ultimate symbol of Hungarian national unity.
Because Buda and Pest were separate.
Exactly. Before this bridge, Buda and Pest were two separate entities divided by a treacherous river.
Right.
This structure physically and symbolically united them into a single, powerful metropolis.
Yes. And while the engineering is breathtaking, especially at sunrise when the Danube reflects all the changing colors of the sky, my absolute favorite part is the folklore.
The lions.
The lions. Because you have these massive, majestic, terrifying lion statues guarding both ends of the bridge. But if you look closely, you'll notice something missing. They don't have tongues.
It's such a great story.
It was a simple accidental oversight by the sculptor, but it instantly sparked this amazing local legend that has persisted for over a century. Supposedly, when it was pointed out at the grand opening, the sculptor was so embarrassed he threw himself into the river.
Which is completely false, just to be clear.
Right, historians say that's not true, but imagine designing this pinnacle of national pride, and the one thing everyone talks about for the next 100 years is that your lions can't roar.
It is a wonderful, humorous injection of humanity into a monumental structure. A tiny, perceived flaw becomes the bridge's most endearing quality. It showcases how these megastructures, despite all their mathematical perfection and massive steel chains, are ultimately human creations, subject to human error, human ego, and human storytelling.
Okay, I want you to take a deep breath. Shake off the heavy permanence of the chain bridge and the Ponte Vecchio. We're leaving the sturdy, predictable world of stone and steel completely behind.
Let's go to the edge.
You are stepping to the edge of a massive, rushing gorge. The wind is howling, whipping your hair across your face, and stretching out before you is nothing but creaking wood and swaying ropes. We are entering the realm of trembling steps, the lifelines built of absolute necessity.
The Husseini Hanging Bridge.
First stop, the Hunza Valley in northern Pakistan. You are looking at the Husseini Hanging Bridge. It is suspended above the aquamarine waters of Bort Lake. It measures over 300 feet long. And when I say it's a bridge, I need you to understand it's a swaying, terrifying lattice of widely spaced wooden planks and rope. That's it. It looked like something out of an adventure movie where the hero barely makes it across.
The visual of the Husseini Hanging Bridge is genuinely terrifying to many observers, but its existence is born of vital, non-negotiable necessity. This bridge is a sheer lifeline.
Right, they don't use it for fun.
No. The remote villages in the Hunza Valley are regularly isolated by the restless, violent flow of the Hunza River, especially when winter ice and spring melts cut off families from essential supplies for days or weeks at a time. It represents the enduring, gritty spirit of the region's people. This isn't a bridge built for scenic tourists to take photos. It is built and maintained by the locals for basic survival.
When you step out onto it, the mountain winds are physically pushing you to the side. You hear the ropes groaning. Above you, massive snow-capped peaks are watching silently. You step from one widely spaced plank to the next, and the earth below suddenly feels completely unreachable. You are just suspended in midair, caught between defiance and resilience.
It's an intense experience.
Every single step must be terrifying, yet filled with this intense gratitude that the crossing even exists at all.
In a high place like that, uncertainty and hope truly travel side by side. The sheer precariousness of the path is exactly what binds those isolated communities closer together. Maintaining that bridge is a communal effort. It's a daily physical manifestation of courage just to get groceries or visit family.
We see that exact same breathtaking courage traveling to Myanmar, to the Tonthaman Lake, to walk across the Ubain Bridge. Built in the mid-19th century, this is the oldest and longest teakwood bridge in the entire world. It stretches a massive 1,200 feet across the tranquil water.
Made of reclaimed wood, too.
Yes, it was made using reclaimed wood from the former royal palace of Amarapura. But wait, if they built this in the 1850s out of wood, standing directly in a lake, why hasn't the wood completely dissolved?
The resourcefulness and material knowledge of Burmese craftsmanship on display here is remarkable. They explicitly chose teakwood. Teak has an incredibly high natural oil and rubber content, making it exceptionally resistant to rot, pests, and water degradation.
So it basically waterproofs itself.
Exactly. Even so, maintaining a 1,200-foot wooden structure in a lake for over 150 years requires constant generational care. Reclaiming palace timbers to build a public infrastructure project also echoes profound historical transitions, turning the exclusivity of a royal palace into a path for the common people.
That's a beautiful way to look at it.
Beyond the engineering, the Ubain Bridge invites a gentle reflection on impermanence. When you traverse its length, feeling the creaking timbers beneath your feet, you are deeply aware of the countless crossings made by generations before you.
The visual is just gorgeous. If you're there at sunset, the sky is shifting through these incredible vivid hues of orange and purple. You see the striking, jagged silhouette of the teakwood pillars against the water, and passing silently back and forth are monks draped in vibrant saffron robes, alongside local villagers carrying goods. It feels completely untouched by time.
Yet, there is a fascinating, subtle contrast at play. While you are immersed in this timeless serenity, looking at the saffron robes and the ancient wood, you can clearly see the bustling, rapidly modernizing city of Mandalay in the distance.
A bridge between eras.
It is a single step that bridges centuries. It's a landscape where the slow, deliberate rhythms of daily historical life and the rapid echoes of modern change converge, showing us how tradition and progress can flow together harmoniously.
It's beautiful, and we find a similar harmony of history and landscape in Albania. We are back in the early 19th century, looking at the Ottoman Bridge of Benja. This bridge features a delicate, slender stone arch rising about 30 feet above the gentle, bright turquoise waters of the Vjosa River.
It's a stunning location.
You're walking on time-worn cobblestones, winding through vibrant wildflower meadows, perfectly framed by the towering, rolling Namurka Mountains. And in the air, there is this distant, earthy scent of sulfur from the nearby natural hot springs.
Built by the visionaries of the Ottoman Empire, this bridge was originally a vital strategic crossing on ancient trade routes, allowing caravans to safely navigate the mountainous terrain. It significantly shaped the economic livelihoods of the region's generations.
It looks so natural there.
What stands out to you when you look at structures like this is how the elegant, mathematically perfect arch stands in stark contrast to the raw, untamed beauty of the river and the jagged surrounding cliffs. It represents a deeply harmonious coexistence between human ingenuity and nature's wild grandeur. You sense the passage of countless merchants and travelers across those stones, yet the bridge itself feels like it grew out of the rock, like a natural extension of the landscape itself.
So what does this all mean as we move forward in time? Because as humanity's engineering prowess grew, our bridges stopped being just about surviving a gorge or facilitating trade. They evolved.
They absolutely did.
They became vast canvases for art, creating mind-bending illusions and forging entirely new psychological relationships with nature. Let's travel to the Bay Na Hills in Vietnam to see one of the most famous modern examples of this.
The Golden Bridge.
Or Cao Vang, yes. Opened in June 2018, this structure sits an incredible 4,600 feet above sea level and stretches 1,418 feet long. And the visual, it's pure cinematic magic. Two giant, ancient-looking, moss-covered stone hands appear to literally lift the delicate golden walkway straight out of the lush Vietnamese hillside.
It draws massive crowds.
It's no wonder it attracts 1.5 million tourists every single year. But those hands aren't actually ancient stone, are they?
No, they are not, and that is where the visual illusion and the structural reality meet. The giant hands are actually constructed using a complex framework of steel mesh covered in high-quality fiberglass and themed to look like weathered stone.
Wow, fiberglass.
Yes. The bridge itself relies on heavily reinforced concrete, specifically engineered to endure the region's notoriously harsh weather. At 4,600 feet up, it faces severe torrential rain and immensely strong, unpredictable winds. The thoughtfulness of the engineering ensures the structural durability of the walkway while flawlessly maintaining that delicate mythological visual metaphor.
It's an incredible piece of art.
It isn't just a walkway. It symbolizes a profound philosophical connection between nature and humanity, elevating the user above the landscape to foster a deep, almost spiritual appreciation of the environment.
You literally feel like you were walking safely through the cupped hands of a mountain god. And if we want to talk about art shifting our perspective, we have to talk about the Infinite Bridge in Aarhus, Denmark.
Ah, very interesting concept.
Designed by the renowned artist Jeppe Hein, this is a bridge with no beginning and no end. It is a perfect circular form, 100 feet or 30 meters in diameter, sitting right on the coastline, with half of it merging into the waters of Aarhus Bay. It was constructed as part of the ARO sculpture project. But let's be honest, a bridge that goes in a circle, what is the point of a bridge that doesn't actually take you to the other side?
That is precisely the genius of it. The Infinite Bridge is a fascinating piece of contemporary architecture because its circular nature forces a totally unique perspective. Because there is no destination to reach, it intentionally strips away the traditional transit utility of a bridge.
Leaving you with what?
It leaves you with only the pure sensory experience. It was explicitly designed to enhance ecological awareness. By removing the urge to get to the other side, it essentially forces the visitor to slow down, pause, step out of their linear, rushing lives, and deeply consider their place in the natural world. You observe the shifting tides in the horizon from an ever-changing 360-degree vantage point.
When you walk on it early in the morning, you're surrounded by the cool Danish mist, and the reflective surface of the water just blurs right into the sky. Every time you walk a lap, the changing light gives you a completely different sensory experience. It's a poignant reminder of the profound beauty and absolute simplicity.
It is indeed.
And speaking of the relationship between wood, water, and preservation, let's head over to Lithuania to see the Bridge of Palanga. Constructed way back in 1859, this is the longest wooden bridge in the country, measuring 1,600 feet in length, jutting straight out into the Baltic Sea. It pulls in about 1 million visitors a year, but the Baltic Sea is incredibly violent. How does a wooden pier survive those freezing storms for over a century?
It is astounding when you consider the materials and the environment. It is highly uncommon for a purely wooden structure to withstand the powerful corrosive storms, the ice, and the harsh climate of the Baltic region for over a century and a half without snapping.
Right.
Its sturdy design, deeply driven wooden pilings, and constant, meticulous replacement of weathered planks is a testament to both the original engineering and ongoing communal dedication. But this raises an important question about utility over time. What does this 19th century bridge serve today besides tourism?
I assume there's a scientific purpose.
Exactly. Beyond its obvious cultural appeal, it has actually become an incredibly valuable hub for ecological research. The waters directly beneath the 1,600-foot wooden structure support a remarkably rich, sheltered marine ecosystem. The pilings act almost like an artificial reef.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It provides marine biologists and scientists with a unique, highly accessible platform to study and engage with coastal biodiversity without needing deep-water vessels.
It's amazing how a 19th century wooden boardwalk naturally evolves into a 21st century marine laboratory. Okay, let's unpack our next major shift. Because while art and nature are beautiful, modern engineering has recently decided to look at the laws of gravity and say, no thanks, we're going to ignore that.
The era of modern mega suspensions.
Yes, where we build things that literally defy gravity and actively challenge our most primal human fears. You are in the Czech Republic, standing in the misty mountain ridges of Dolní Morava. You are at the entrance of Skybridge 721. Completed in 2022, this monument to human audacity is 2,360 feet long. That is 721 meters of suspended, transparent pathway, and it is held up by over 1,000 tons of steel cable.
The engineering feat of Skybridge 721 is staggering. The sheer daring vision required to safely suspend the 1,000 tons of steel in a nearly half-mile walkway above a deep valley is monumental. You have to account for immense wind damping
To keep it from swaying.
Ensuring the bridge doesn't oscillate or twist in a storm, which is achieved through a complex network of stabilizing wind ropes anchoring the deck to the valley floor. It represents a massive leap in what we consider a passable structure. You are suspending cutting-edge modern innovation directly above centuries-old Moravian forests, inviting a very specific kind of awe and intense contemplation.
You walk out onto it, and you have these sweeping panoramic views over the deep valleys and emerald green forests. But you also have the winds tugging violently at your clothes, whistling through the grates. You are totally exposed. There's this intense thrill of the height, blended with an unexpected sense of peace once your brain finally realizes the massive steel structure is securely holding you. It asks you to witness how human ingenuity can literally lift our boundaries.
And if you really want to test your psychological boundaries,
Let me take you to Hunan Province, China, to the Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge.
the absolute intersection of psychological tension and engineering brilliance.
Exactly. Opened in 2016, this bridge stretches across a vertiginous canyon, and the floor. It's made of completely transparent glass panels. You look down past your shoes, and there is a terrifying 980-foot or roughly 300-meter plunge straight to the jagged forest floor below.
It's not for the faint of heart.
Now, the landscape here is so surreal with these towering sandstone pillars that it actually inspired the floating mountains in the movie Avatar. But imagine being there. My fear of heights would have me hyperventilating. Your heart is quickening. You take a step, and your eye is desperately struggling to trust this invisible floor beneath your boots. You hear the wind whispering through the gorge, and your primitive brain is screaming at you to go back to solid ground. Why do we build things that terrify us on purpose?
This raises a fascinating point about human psychology and modern design. The Zhangjiajie Glass Bridge perfectly captures the delicate tension between the deep, evolutionary psychological urge to retreat from a sheer drop and the intense, primal curiosity to look down into the void and conquer it.
We just can't help ourselves.
Engineers are no longer just solving transit problems to get goods from point A to point B. They are actively designing immersive experiences that manipulate our physiological responses. They use multi-layered tempered glass that is mathematically stronger than steel, deliberately exposing us to the raw grandeur and terror of nature, all while keeping us perfectly safe. It is an exercise in mastering our own fears.
It's terrifying, but you just can't look away. Now, sometimes these high-altitude bridges aim for a much quieter, more reflective experience. In the Pyrenees, high in the heart of Andorra, we find the Canilla Suspension Bridge.
A beautiful, minimal structure.
Completed in the early 2020s, its minimalist steel frame hovers more than 500 feet above the wild, rushing waters of the valley. You are standing there, and gray clouds are literally drifting past you right at eye level, while the massive pine trees look like tiny green toys far below your feet.
The Canilla Suspension Bridge highlights a beautiful paradox in modern megaprojects. It was explicitly built to invite travelers into these incredibly remote heights, to conquer the deep gorges that isolated mountain communities. Yet it was designed with such an impressively minimal structural footprint that it actively preserves the deep solitude and pristine ecology that defines the Pyrenean landscapes.
Doesn't dominate the valley.
Exactly. Standing on it, feeling the gentle sway of the cables, it's literally a quiet conversation between the relentless march of human progress and the primal hush of the mountains.
I love that idea of a quiet conversation with the mountains. But sometimes engineering isn't quiet. Sometimes it's a roaring declaration of ambition. Let's head to Hubei province in China, to the Sidu River Bridge. Completed in 2009, this suspension marvel is threaded like a brilliant silver arc across mist-shrouded mountains. It spans an incredible 4,000 feet, and it soars nearly 1,600 feet, almost 500 meters above the swirling green valley of the City River.
The height is just astounding.
But wait, how do you string a 4,000-foot cable across a 1,600-foot gorge? You can't just walk it down one side and up the other.
That is one of the most incredible details of this build. The gorge was so deep and the terrain so hostile that traditional methods using boats, helicopters, or floating cables were impossible. So the engineers literally used military-grade rockets.
Rockets?
Yes. They attached a pilot cable to a rocket and fired it 4,000 feet across the gorge to string the very first line. To put the height into perspective, 1,600 feet is higher than the roof of the Empire State Building. Suspending 4,000 feet of heavy highway traffic at that altitude requires an engineering mindset that bridges the gap between pure mathematics, ballistic science, and high art.
That is unbelievable.
This raises an important question. When we witness humanity's drive merging with the landscape's immense power at this scale, we have to ask how far innovation will ultimately lift us. At the City River Bridge, engineering transcends utility and truly becomes both ambition and poetry.
Firing rockets across a gorge to build a bridge, it is the fleeting courage of new ideas suspended permanently in the sky. Okay, we've conquered deep gorges, we've defied gravity, we've walked in the clouds. But there is one final frontier we haven't touched yet, the oceans. We haven't just conquered the Earth, we have set our sights on the restless seas, linking entire land masses and completely reshaping global geography.
The marine megaprojects.
Let's start with an absolute icon, the Golden Gate Bridge in California. Completed in 1937, its bold orange towers reached 750 feet into the misty blues of the San Francisco Bay. It was once the longest suspension bridge on Earth, beautifully connecting San Francisco to Marin County. But looking back at the 1930s, how did they anchor those massive towers in the middle of a swirling ocean strait?
The Golden Gate is more than an aesthetic icon. It's a testament to early 20th century audacity. When you consider the brutal technical obstacles the engineers faced in the 1930s, battling fierce, unpredictable tides and relentless, punishing winds without the aid of modern computer modeling, it's astonishing.
They did it all by hand, essentially.
To anchor the South Tower, they had to build massive underwater concrete caissons. Divers were working in pitch black, freezing, treacherous currents to blast the bedrock. And today, what's fascinating here is the ongoing challenge it presents. It isn't just a static monument, it requires constant, immense upkeep. The salt air is incredibly corrosive.
They paint it continuously, right?
Exactly. The city is locked in a perpetual balancing act of preserving this historic structure, literally repainting it year-round while accommodating the relentless progress and weight of modern commuter traffic.
You stand there, often completely cloaked in the famous San Francisco fog, the wind whipping off the Pacific, and you just feel this quiet awe at the vision, the danger, and the collaboration it took to alter the destiny of that entire bay.
It changed everything for the region.
But if we want to talk about altering destiny and geography on a massive international scale, we have to talk about the Øresund Bridge. This is a mega project that elegantly links two entirely different nations, Denmark and Sweden. Opened in the year 2000, it connects Copenhagen to Malmö, stretching nearly 5 miles, or about 8 kilometers.
The Øresund Bridge is a marvel of multimodal engineering. It's the longest combined road and rail bridge in all of Europe. You have a soaring cable stay bridge that rises 197 feet high, which is critical to allow large vessels to navigate the incredibly busy shipping waters of the strait. And it's built to withstand absolutely severe weather, capable of handling winds up to 144 miles per hour without interrupting the high-speed trains running on the lower deck.
Wait, before we move on, for the listener trying to picture this, what exactly is a cable stay bridge, and how is it different from the suspension cables on the Golden Gate?
A great distinction to make. On a suspension bridge like the Golden Gate, you have two massive main cables draped between the towers, and vertical suspender ropes hang down from those main cables to hold the deck. But on a cable-stayed bridge like Øresund, there is no sweeping main cable. The cables run directly from the towering pylons straight down to the deck, fanning out like the strings of a harp.
Oh, I see.
It provides incredible rigidity, which is absolutely vital when you have heavy, high-speed freight trains crossing over open ocean water.
That makes perfect sense. So you're in your car, or on the train, surrounded by the dark blue waves and distant Nordic mist, safe from 144-mile-per-hour winds. But here's the craziest part. The bridge doesn't just go over the water. Halfway across, it hits an artificial island and goes under the water. It seamlessly transitions into a 1.3-mile underwater tunnel. But why? Why not just build a bridge the whole way?
It was a brilliant logistical solution to a massive geographical conflict. The bridge is located very close to Copenhagen Airport. If they built a bridge high enough to let the mapped container ships pass underneath, the towers would be so high they would intersect the flight paths of the landing airplane.
That's a huge problem.
So they built a bridge high enough for medium ships, then transitioned it onto an artificial island and dove it under the seafloor into a submerged tunnel to leave the airspace perfectly clear for the jets and the water surface perfectly clear for the largest ships. It delves perfectly into the paradox of connection and division. It physically separates the sky from the seafloor, yet it brings the lives of Swedes and Danes infinitely closer together, turning international travel into a seamless daily routine.
Imagine the awe of your everyday commute involving dissolving a national border, soaring 200 feet in the air, and then plunging beneath the ocean floor. Plus, the surrounding area in Malmö has over 120 historical Viking sites. You are literally commuting through ancient maritime history via a futuristic tunnel. It makes the world feel so much smaller in the best way possible.
It's transformative.
We see that same transformative economic power in China with the Jiaozu Bay Bridge. Opened in 2008, this absolute titan connects the city of Qingdao to the island of Guangdong. We are talking about 12 miles or 21 kilometers of bridge. 12 miles. It required over 4 million cubic feet or 100,000 cubic meters of concrete. But building across an open bay in Asia, how does it not just get ripped apart by typhoons?
That is where the staggering volume of concrete and steel comes into play. The bridge is supported by over 5,000 massive concrete pillars deeply driven into the seabed. It is engineered with specific seismic damping technologies to withstand direct hits from high-category typhoons and major earthquakes.
It's basically indestructible.
But if we connect this to the bigger picture, the true impact of the Jiaozu Bay Bridge is economic. A project of this magnitude isn't just about moving cars over water. It's about fundamentally transforming regional lives. By significantly reducing travel time between the industrial mainland and the island, it has fostered immense economic growth, exponentially enhancing accessibility to trade, daily commutes, and tourism. It proves that massive infrastructure can physically reshape an entire regional economy, turning a massive geographic barrier into a thriving, unified economic zone.
You look at its sleek, arching silhouette against the horizon and you realize it's literally a 12-mile vein pumping life into these communities. But even 12 miles pales in comparison to our final mega project. We're looking at a structure that completely redefines what is possible when immense human willpower meets the ocean.
The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge.
Yes. Opened in 2018, this colossal structure stretches an unbelievable 34 miles over 55 kilometers across the shimmering Pearl River Delta in southern China. 34 miles over open, deep water.
It is the absolute pinnacle of modern ambition and logistical mastery. It's a highly complex blend of rhythmic viaducts, massive artificial islands constructed entirely from scratch in the middle of the ocean, and a deep undersea tunnel.
Wait, building islands from scratch in the middle of the ocean? How?
They drove massive steel cylinders, each the size of a building, into the seabed in a massive ring, and then filled the center with sand and concrete to create a solid landmass where none existed. This allowed them to transition the bridge into a tunnel, again, to avoid blocking the world's busiest shipping lanes.
The logistics of that are mind-blowing.
Binding megacities together across 34 miles of sprawling tides involves an immense structural vulnerability. You're taking the promise of unity, shared progress, and economic integration and setting it against the immense, terrifying, unpredictable power of the sea. It requires unparalleled precision.
Imagine standing atop that incredible expanse. You see the glass and steel shimmering under the sun, the distant city skylines blurring in the ocean haze. You are watching a steady, massive stream of vehicles turning what used to be utter, vast isolation into fluid, constant movement. It's a stunning reminder of nature's endurance and humanity's absolute, defiant refusal to be kept apart by it.
It really is.
Okay, let's wrap this up because what a staggering journey this has been. From the hand-chiseled stones and spillway arches of the 1,400-year-old Jiaozu Bridge to the sweeping 34-mile steel curves of the Pearl River Delta, we have looked at structures born of dark folklore, forged in the tragic fires of war, and suspended precariously above the clouds using military rockets. We've seen that whether humanity is faced with a terrifying canyon, a raging river, or a massive multi-billion-dollar sea crossing, our ultimate resounding answer to natural division is simply to build.
It truly is. And I want to leave you with one final thought to ponder long after this deep dive ends. We have just spent the last hour exploring how, throughout all of recorded history, humanity has relentlessly, obsessively engineered physical solutions to geographic isolation. We possess the sheer audacity to string thousands of tons of steel cables across the clouds, to drive miles of concrete tunnels beneath the ocean floor, and to carve stone steps into sheer cliffs, all just to reach one another. If we are capable of dedicating that much genius, treasure, and physical courage to cross treacherous rivers and violent oceans, what excuses do we have left for the invisible divides, the social, cultural, and personal chasms that we still quietly allow to remain uncrossed in our everyday lives? Physical bridges, perhaps, are merely the training ground for the human spirit. The real, enduring work is applying that exact same audacity to how we connect with each other.